All right.
Welcome.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Half Room Podcast.
Doing it in the morning right now, too.
We are. It feels good.
Yeah,
I'm
it does
definitely
feel
more
good.
of a morning guy.
Today is an extra special day for me because I have my good friend Jason here. He is the proprietor, owner, CEO of the Farmer Gym.
Yeah.
And it's Farmer Gym, that is G-Y-M.
Yeah.
That has been confused.
It has a lot of
See,
people.
I'm going to work out with Farmer Jim, and people are like,
Like,
"Who's that guy?"
Who's Jim?
Oh, I did that
know.
exact thing. Yeah. I was like,
So it's actually like a gymnasium, Farmer Gym.
Yeah.
But he's also a huge Rocky fan, which we connect on that.
Yeah.
And he has the best quadriceps in the game.
dude,
Just leg meat for days.
the quad
So-
game is strong.
Got that from Daddy.
Yeah,
got
from
got that
from
from
Daddy.
Daddy. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Some of us lack quads. I think I just naturally probably have a little bit bigger quads. I know you work out a lot, but you just can't seem to like get there.
Yeah.
You know?
There's not.
It doesn't matter how much weight you put down, your legs just aren't expanding. They might be shrinking actually.
Right.
You know?
That's when you wear tighter clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how. There's ways around that.
Right. Strategy.
So, you go to the gym, you squat, you put on your wife's jeans.
Yeah.
And people are like, "Are your quads bigger?" And you're like,
Wow,
"Absolutely."
your quads are so big. It's because I'm
Absolutely.
squeezing into some freaking
Jeggings.
24s.
So, but we got Jason here today, and I want to talk a little bit about, before we get into the important stuff like Rocky, I want to talk a little bit about Farmer Gym and kind of what the vision was behind that. I mean, you've helped so many people through their fitness journey, through just healthier living. Functional fitness is a big part of the Farmer Gym, and kind of, it's like it's like a farmer. It's that farm boy strength kind of thing.
You got to keep moving. You got to keep that strength up, but you can't stop.
Right.
You know.
So how did you get started with this idea and this business?
Yeah, the quick and dirty version. Take 2-4 minutes. Moved out to California from Iowa. I'm born and raised Iowa. Love Iowa. Grew up on a farm actually. So getting my hands dirty, being physically active was a way of life. So moved out to California because of my lovely bride, Denise. It was around Valentine's Day, like 2013. We went out to eat with my cousins. And I was going to launch a personal training company like every other person in Los Angeles. The only catch, I was the only person who didn't want to go into the movie business. So I was legit. So we're coming up with ideas, and my cousin Caleb's across the table, and he's like, he grew up on a farm. Why not like toss bales of hay around? Nobody out here knows what that is. It'd be pretty cool. It'd be a neat niche. I'm like, that is brilliant. And then I started thinking about Rocky IV. I'm like, this could be the greatest idea on the planet. I'm a huge Rocky IV dork, as you'll get to hear later in the podcast. But we're brainstorming with ideas, farmer fit, yada, yada, yada. So Denise and I are driving home, and we're coming up with more and more ideas. And then one thing led to the next. And then about a week later, Farmer Gym clicked. I'm like, Farmer Gym, that is a cool idea.
Yeah.
But not J-I-M, G-Y-M. We're playing on words. We're getting creative here, So Farmer Gym got created in 2013. I started training people in parks, at their homes. Your environment is your gym. Your body is the machine. Okay. Wow. So that's the slogan I kind of went with. And things were absolutely great. Things were rocking and rolling. Had quite a few clients out there, a different type of client base, but it was a lot of fun. And then I was also working for the UCLA football program. So things were good, but things just weren't clicking for me from a personal standpoint with regard to being in Los Angeles. Wasn't a huge fan. And then Denise knew it wouldn't be our long-term stay. So she got offered a great job here in Tallahassee. So she took it. I moved the business to Tallahassee. In that industry, it's hard to just pick up and leave because I'm leaving all my clients behind. But the brand was pretty darn strong. It was something unique, something different. We had established an online presence, Facebook, website. So I kept it. We moved it here. I kicked it off here. We had a couple acres of land just down the road, a mile away from right here. So I started training people outside there, just, put a kettlebell over here, put weights over here. So I'd just have people running around this farm, 2 acres of land, farmer gym. Your environment is your gym, your body's the machine. So between that, and I also was a trainer at Premier Health and Fitness. So my life was pretty much fitness 24/7. I met Zach. Zach would come out. A couple other people from the church would come out and absolutely loved it. It was a blast. Then, again, about 2 years after being here, my wife got offered another great job. I talk a lot about my wife. She's a superstar. So we picked up, we moved again. But the brand kept building and building, and now we have some shirts. We've got 5 books out there now, and
Wow.
we've got people running programs online because, if I'm not meeting you face-to-face, people are wanting programs. What should I do? When should I do it? How should I do it? So I had some clients still in California. I still train a client on FaceTime.
No
Like
way.
she'll just randomly be like, "Hey, you got it at 8 o'clock tonight?" I'm like, "I do." So put it down wherever I am, and I'll train her right then and there. But have some clients in Iowa. Everything's online now just because I had to start over again. I want a facility. I would love a facility. I'd love like this Rocky IV barn in the middle of nowhere. But just having a kid, the online presence is going great, and it just works with my life, our life right now. So it's a lot of fun creating these programs. I've probably got some texts waiting for me, people reporting their workouts to me. I'm continually working, one-on-one, changing programs on the fly, but that, that relationship, building stronger bodies, building engines, conditioning, just, it's awesome. I get to train. My job is to make people lift weights.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's just awesome. So one other thing that we've got going in the pipeline, and Zach was actually instrumental in this, something called Endura Strong. It's kind of a subsidiary of Farmer Gym. It's basically, it's like CrossFit on steroids is what I like to call it, because it's the best way I can state what it is. So it's basically taking your CrossFit-like workouts with, I won't get into a lot of the jargon right now, taking away some of the things that would lead you more to injury and getting those out of the game, but extending the workout by 30 minutes to 45 minutes. And like I said, Zach plowed through some of the harshest things we've ever done. So
we did what, 8 weeks? Was that what?
We
did 8 weeks.
It was 8 weeks. You would get there every morning at 5:30, 6 o'clock. I remember on the first or second workout, Johnny, where's Johnny go? He's over on the side hurling, puking.
So it was 4 days a week. It was a strength and conditioning program. It was an 8-week program. And you started off with each day focused on one of the main lifts for your strength part. So it would be like a bench press, an overhead press, a deadlift, or a squat, and then you'd move into some conditioning, be it some cardio work or just some accessory work that would kind of complement what you did for your strength that day. And in 8 weeks, it was weird too, because it was to see your body change and to see what you can accomplish in 8 weeks was absolutely incredible. How much all my lifts went up. I mean, I deadlifted 405 pounds, which I couldn't do right now, but that's what was happening. Johnny deadlifted might have been the ugliest deadlift I've ever seen in my life, but he got it up.
He did, and I would jump in there again if I saw that a second time, but he did. And a lot of these workouts, they're designed to be, mind over matter, because your body can keep going, but your mind wants to shut it down. You're like, I'm in pain. I don't want to do this, but you can. That's the thing. 99.9% of the time, you can keep doing it, but it's just a matter of shutting off your mind, going into that Navy SEAL mentality. I was never brave enough to even go into the military. I wish I had, but having that Navy SEAL, that military mindset, like, I want to shut it down. This hurts, but go
Keep
get
going.
it. So the workouts are completely designed to first train your mind and then train your body.
Yeah.
But Zach hit the nail on the head with regard to the physiological aspect of.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
it is.
Each workout was about an hour and a half or so.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, it was a long workout, but it wasn't like it wasn't the worst thing in the world. what he really focused on too, something I had never focused on, was the recovery side of things. Before, I was the guy that I would go to the gym 6 days a week, and I'd be hitting body parts 2 days in a row, and and I wasn't making the progress that I wanted. I was working out sore a lot, but doing this program with Jason, I saw like you put a lot of emphasis on recovery.
Yeah.
And I saw that, hey, take a rest here.
Right.
A little light cardio on this day or something, active recovery, things like that. And man, I'll tell you what, the strength shot up, the cardio, the fitness level shot up. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and that's something that people don't realize about the body. I mean, you have to tear it down in order to build it back up.
Right.
And if you're continually beating one body part down, it's never going to build itself up. That's when when you rest, that's when all the hormones kick into place. That's when the proteins go in and just restructure that muscle to make you stronger. So if we're hitting squats or deadlifts on Monday, we're going to hit squats and deadlifts again on Thursday. Okay, we're going to basically give you over 48 hours to recoup. Yeah, we might have a little bit of running, a little bit of rowing, maybe a couple lighter weight exercises that hit that muscle, but we're not just going to pound it into a pulp. We're going to let the body heal itself, build itself back up, so you become bigger, stronger, faster.
Yeah.
So, programming. So it's not a difficult thing, but so many people get it wrong. Just it's pretty crazy. So. Thanks for mentioning that. That's something that I definitely
the programming and then on the different days that you would do these lifts, it wasn't just like, hey, we're gonna do 5 sets of 5 reps. It was some weeks you would do, you'd be in the 8 rep range, looking at like hypertrophy, building the muscles. Some weeks you would be in the 3 rep range, looking for more of the strength side of things, just making the muscle stronger. Sometimes we do 1 rep, the explosive strength, kind of that stuff. And it was a lot of fun. So we were really hitting like all these different like physiological ways to build, grow, make a muscle faster. It was cool. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The other thing about Farmer Gym that I saw when the first day I showed up, when you would do the little the training on Sunday where invited people in, but the thing that got me was, even though that everybody was there, they were doing it, you were just doing it out of the kindness of your heart. You were still invested in everybody's fitness journey. You were really, you felt like you were talking like to us, which you were, but I mean, you really were interested in what we were doing. You weren't going to let us do something that was going to hurt us, but you also were pushing us to a limit that, that we maybe not super comfortable with. You were getting us out of those comfort zones. What with your personal training and with the Farmer Gym, like the personal aspect that is evident.
Yeah.
Where does that come from? I mean, do you truly just love to see people get in shape?
Absolutely. I couldn't be an investment banker. Wouldn't want to be. Couldn't be a lawyer. Wouldn't want to be. I'll let that be my wife's cup of tea. I love the body. I was never meant to be a doctor. I'm meant to be in the meathead industry. I used to be so embarrassed to that. My pride, my ego is like, everybody can be a personal trainer. Yeah, everybody can be. Not everybody can be a good one. I don't mean that to sound cocky, arrogant. I absolutely don't. I just want to say that I believe I'm meant to be here, and I invest in every person that comes in that door, comes onto the farm, is typing on the computer, because I genuinely want that person to become healthier, stronger, fitter, and I want it to be a lifelong journey. I want them to be able to play with their kids. Now seeing my little one, I'm like, dang, this fitness thing isn't just about being strong. It's about making it to 80, 90, because I want to see his kids play someday. So I do invest into every person that I'm in contact with. Whether it's a client or not, if you're going to shoot me a message, if you're going to make a comment, I want to put my best foot forward and help you out as best I can. Granted, I can't give you 4 hours of my time because I do have a family to provide for, but I'm going to give every individual, the best I can, because I love it. I want you to be the best you can be in the fitness realm. So
it's incredible. It's incredible. Yeah. So I know what's some of the out of the box things that you guys would typically do? Like, I know with the whole farmer thing, talked about throwing bales. Is there anything that's just kind of out of the box? It's like
I'll give you a couple. A couple workouts, and the only reason they come to mind is because Johnny actually called me the other day because he's doing a fitness thing up in North Carolina, and we were going over some of the crazy workouts. There was one day, the 2 workouts, one, you were there, and the other day, he came over on a Saturday. We ran 1 mile, and we had to hold on to a 35-pound dumbbell with that 1 mile. Once we got done with the mile, we had to run a regular mile. Once we got done with the regular mile, we had 100 burpees, 100 pull-ups, 100 lunges while holding on to a plate above our head, 100 sit-ups, 100 push-ups, then a 1 mile run, and then a 1 mile run with a 35-pound kettlebell. I can definitively say that's the worst, or that's the most difficult workout I've ever done. Everybody has their own difficult workout, but I never wanted to quit a workout so much in my life. I mean, I've run a couple marathons, and they stunk, but I made it through. But man, that 90 minutes was absolutely terrible. And then there was another one that was pretty rough. It wasn't as bad for me. I don't know if you remember this, Z. It was an hour-long workout, and what it was, we had 800-meter run, 50 push-ups, 50 sit-ups, but every 5 minutes, we had
there.
15 burpees. 15 burpees.
Yeah, I was there.
Oh,
I was there.
Yeah, you were there. That was not fun.
I mean, it was genuinely
90
angry.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm not talking to Jason for like at least 2 weeks.
Look, because no, we would always run by each other, and the guy like head nod like, yeah, this sucks, but keep it up, man. Like, we weren't looking at each other. We just had that, like, not even eye of the tiger. Like, it was straight up, this is miserable. I hate my life. This stinks. I don't want to see you. Oh yeah.
Well, and that the cool thing about your training style and Farmer Gym is that you post all these workouts, all these crazy workouts online.
Yeah.
And every single one of them you've done.
Yep.
So you live it. I mean,
Yep.
you live the lifestyle. You're not. This isn't just something because like my gym, I see the trainers working at my gym, and some of them look like a bag of lotion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's just like I'm like, dude, you're a trainer. You live it though.
Absolutely.
You live
And that's a pet peeve because I know. When you're in your industry, you know people, you know the way they operate. I would never ever just say this person. I'm not going to say his or her name, but people who put up workouts, they wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Yeah. I'm going to touch that workout. If I'm going to give you something, you're darn straight, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to give you something that I'm not going to do.
I love that.
Why would I put you through misery and I'm not going to be the one going through that misery?
Right.
Yeah.
I will always do it. I will typically do it first because if there's something that's just totally off, where if, for example, we're loading a certain area of the body too much, I want to know that so that I'm backing off and I'm tweaking. If I'm going to give you kettlebell swing for 25 reps and it should be 20 or 18 reps, or it should be structured and put over here. Although I've got a good idea of where things should be, how they should be placed, how long to do them, I want to be able to know, all right, that doesn't feel right. So I definitely want to immerse myself into that pain train before somebody else does it. But yeah, I'm absolutely doing it.
Well, and after Johnny and I finished the 8 weeks of Endura Strong, we would still just go over and train with Jason, just the daily stuff. But most of it was him saying, hey, I want to try this workout. So we were kind of, I mean, he was doing it as well, but we were kind of the guinea pigs.
Absolutely.
And it started getting out of hand, I feel like, because
it's like we always had to one-up ourselves. Always, yeah.
It got to the point where it's like, oh man, what's happening? I mean, all the running with the weights in your hands, and then I wasn't there the day that you and Johnny put the 135 pounds on the bar.
I forgot about that one.
like you would a squat. They had 135 pounds on.
We ran
a mile with it on their back.
No.
I
was like, I'm glad I missed it.
I love my father-in-law. And he's a very cerebral person. And he'll randomly give you texts, but when he texts you about specific things, he means business.
Yeah.
It's like, what were you thinking when you had that? I'm like, what was I thinking? So that's an example of something that I wouldn't give my clients or other people. Yeah, I'm not going to say, I've got an awesome client right now. I'm going to say his name because he wouldn't care. Travis. He jumped through a brick wall. I won't give Travis a 1 mile with a 135-pound bar on his back. I'm not going to do that. Right. But because safety does matter to me, I'm going to push you, but safety does matter. And I don't know what we were thinking, but yeah, it was one of those days. As Zach said, it's like we kept over. How are we going to outdo ourselves this time? Well, we can do this. How are we going to outdo? That was.
I love that though, because
gnarly.
it sounds like it keeps the workouts interesting, obviously, and you're always experimenting, and you want to be able to take things out of the box, because I mean, if you're just going in and a trainer's just like, all right, hey, we're just gonna do 100 push-ups, and then you're just gonna do 100 squats, and then we're just gonna bounce out of here. It's like, that's who cares? But like whenever you're able to throw in a couple of those like little things like that are just that throw you out of your element, no matter who you are, man, I love that. That's cool.
And then we still have our staples. We'll have I actually on the website have staples like a 800-meter run. What's your max squat that you'll come back to? So we're doing all this stuff over here, but you can test to see where you are physically and keep tally on, okay, this is where I was 2 months ago, this is where I am now. So we do have those staple workouts where you can gauge your performance, but yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thanks.
I love it. So you mentioned earlier, whenever you kind of opened, that you were working with the UCLA football team as well. Was that like a strength and conditioning?
I've been in the I was a strength and conditioning coach for a smaller school called Drake University in Iowa, where I worked with the football program, volleyball, track, and cross country. So I worked with them. That was a lot of fun. I actually did it on a volunteer basis, so I was putting in about 30 hours a week for free.
Wow.
That's a way to burn out. Respect everybody in that industry, but I like the area I'm in. But when I was working with the UCLA football program, I also teach online. I teach sport business classes, so still in the realm of sport, although this area isn't with the body. But I actually worked with academics with, they called them their, not high risk, but air quotes, they're important athletes. So basically, these are the athletes who are going to probably be going pro. Keep an eye on them, make sure they're good, make sure everything's okay. So I just made sure their egos were in check, they were doing their work, and they were happy. They weren't cheating. Everything was on the up and up, and it was a great relationship. And it was a good balance because it allowed me to let my hair down, relax a little bit. So if I needed a break or I had to have a break from personal training, this person, I'm working with this student athlete, but it was in the realm of academics. So
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. And would you kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier as well, but like the whole mental side of fitness, and obviously like you definitely seem like a motivating guy. Like you're inspiring me right now. I feel bad that I haven't worked out in a hot minute, and I'm like looking at it, I'm like, man, I should probably get back on the bike. But how important is the mental side whenever you're going, just in life in general and with fitness especially?
It's far more than body. It's far more than body. I mean, getting out of your bed in the morning when it's cold outside and you just want to stay there, that's mental. Getting that extra email sent when you could just sneak out the door and head home early. Everything's mental.
Yeah.
Everything's mental. Most of the reasons why people don't adhere to a training program, the reason why people skip out on the gym, it's all mental. This is a Jason comment, but I think it's 80% mental, 20% physical.
Yeah.
Everybody sees the physical, but your brain is what goes or what stops, and it's the gatekeeper.
I'll agree with that 100%. You see guys like Mark Wahlberg. They'll post like what time he wakes up.
Yeah.
There's this other guy. There's this guy who's a former Navy SEAL. He's got a podcast. His name's Jocko, and like his entire Instagram is just pictures of his watch at like 4:30 in the morning.
That's pretty
when
cool.
he wakes up, and it's always like rise and grind, stuff like that.
Goggins.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You talk about the most mentally strong human being on the planet. Zach introduced me to this guy, and I'm just like, the moment you think you have an edge mentally, you look at this guy and you're like, no,
not there.
But the reason those guys will post a picture of their watch is because, I think for people that haven't done it, you kind of like, everybody kind of rolls their eyes. Good for you, man. You woke up at 4:30 in the morning. But in reality, that's 90% of the fight.
Absolutely.
And if you can get up, get yourself to the gym, get yourself outside, get yourself running, get yourself doing something, then but getting out of bed, 90% is done. And there's days where I don't even have to wake up as early as I do sometimes, but I still get up that early because it kind of already motivates you. You're like, man, I've already done this.
Yeah.
Now it's that much easier to push the next level.
100%. There's a workout that I do probably once a week. It's one of my now favorite workouts. It is just plain Jane. You know what a man maker is?
Yeah.
I'll do 100 man makers with 2 40-pound dumbbells.
Can you explain?
Yeah.
I just want to know what a man maker is.
Yeah. So a man maker is you're in a plank position or a push-up position. Dumbbell here, dumbbell here.
Yeah.
You go down, do a push-up, then you row right side, bring it on down, push up, row left side, bring it on down, and then you jump your feet up. You pull the dumbbells back to your shoulders, so you're now in the bottom position, a squat. Then you squat up, press the dumbbell over your head. That's 1 rep. All that is 1 rep.
One.
So, no, I'm telling you, try doing 10, and then it's like, whoa, I thought that would be easy, but you do 5 or 10, you're breathing. So I'll always try to finish under 40 minutes.
Okay.
Always. And I'll get to, rep 60, 65. I'm starting to fatigue. I'll look at them. I'll look at the clock. And you have to go. It's like, I have to go right now or I'm not going to beat that 40 minutes. So your body does not want to do that. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But you're looking at the dumbbells. All right, time to go. You do them. And that's what you carry over, as Zach said, into everyday life.
Yep.
I don't want to do that. I can do that. I will do that. I will conquer that.
Yeah.
So you're taking it over into other aspects of life. And that's the coolest thing about the whole fitness realm. This style of training your brain to be strong because it is capable, and then taking it in to your everyday life.
Yeah.
So I guess we're training the brain for functional fitness too.
There you go.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I love
Brain training.
Well,
and I think that people that are, that are into fitness or exercise a lot, they kind of get a bad rap sometimes because I feel, they kind of get accused of, oh, you're just doing this to look good.
Absolutely.
And people that tend to be, into fitness, they're always talking about it, but the reason they're saying that is, hey, I'm not trying to get you to look good. You don't understand how good I feel. You don't understand how much it makes my day better. Like the brain fog is gone for the day, and it's terrible. That's why when you miss a workout, it's like, oh, you're like depressed that day.
100%. And to go off of that, this is something that I've always been self-conscious with. Growing up, I was a very hyper guy, and there are always aspects of my life where I've, had anxiety. I'm not afraid to say it. I've dealt with anxiety with certain aspects of my life. I just, get sweaty, get clammy, in a big group of people, whatever it might be. This is my escape.
Yeah.
This is it's medicine. I'm not prescribing this. I'm not saying go do that. That is your medicine. Disclaimer. But, for me, it's my medicine. And it's the looking good is a byproduct. Yes,
Absolutely.
you are going to look better when you work out, assuming you're not, eating 10 sticks of butter every day, but you're going to look better. It's a byproduct, but it's way more than looking good. It's clearing the head. It's making yourself mentally stronger to handle other aspects of life. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man, it's definitely something that, like, that's why I always encourage, like, my parents, my wife, people that I'm friends with, hey, you should, get into fitness. You actually feel better. It's fun. And then when you have somebody to do it with, it's just that much more, interesting and fun, and everybody can kind of push each other because, I get it. Like when you've been doing it for a little while, you find it in your own head to be able to, like, step off your front porch and go for, a 10-mile run at 5 a.m. when it's, 45 degrees. But if there, when there's people doing it with you, it's a lot more fun, and it's so I always encourage, like, hey, I'll go with you. Yeah. I'll do it with you.
And then once you make it a habit, it's easy.
Yeah.
I've been saying how, going through hard workouts. So I guess it's not easy, but it's easy to get yourself into that mode to go, So you just gotta get into that habit. Yeah. Make a habit, and it's not bad.
You know, and I see so many people, a lot of them, the way they look obviously is important, you know, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. People, you know, they don't want to be overweight.
Yeah.
They want to look a certain way. But I see so many people that try to do it with just diet alone. They'll basically just stop, you know, more or less stop eating and, you know, and take a 20-minute walk, you know, 3 times a week. And I'm like, man, you don't understand. You could eat so much more. You could enjoy your life so much more. You could still lose weight. Not only that, but now you're going to be, if you're working out, you're going to be building muscle. So you're actually going to have better body composition.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're not just going to be, if you do lose the weight, you're not starving yourself and you're just skin hanging on bones,
100%.
you know? And so I'm like, man, but I get it. Like, just get it, but just put your feet on the ground in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, that is the hardest part. You know, just do
Mental
it.
game.
Right.
Mental game. Yep.
But you know, some people are, you know, they can't do the morning. Like for me, if I don't get my workout in before 11, I'm not doing it at night. So I kind of have the opposite end of things. Like there's people that can go after work, go after school, work out at night. You will never catch me in a gym or running after.
I'm
after
typically
noon,
the same way.
you know?
And you got to find that sweet spot.
Right.
You got to find what works for you. You know, early in the morning. Lunch hour, if it is after work, if it's when the kids go to bed, you got to find that spot and take advantage of it. You know, we're all busy people. We all lead our own lives. So yeah, you do have to find your time. 100%.
Absolutely, man. We'll get in a little bit later. We'll get into like where people can find you online.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you put up free content almost every single day.
Pretty much every day.
Free workouts.
Yeah.
Every day.
It's sick.
Yeah. I mean, why not let it be? It is for the masses. I want everybody everywhere to be healthy, to be fit. If you're in rural Montana, you have access to minimal equipment workouts that hopefully can help out your life, change your life, do something. Yeah, I want everybody to have access to this.
Yeah.
I love my favorites are the videos that you put out, the free content that when you're traveling and you're like doing, you know, you're doing like box jumps on your hotel room bed or something, or you got your son in his car seat and you're doing lunges, you know, around a parking lot. Because I mean, in reality, I mean, you know, I think some people may go, "Oh, that's just silly," or just being funny. But I mean, you can do that.
You can, yeah. And there's some times where I will post things, and it is just to be, you know, a little bit fun, a little bit funny, but it is also to prove a point. You know, just do it. You know, you're gonna steal something from Nike, just do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Or our tagline, do work. Just do work. Do the work that is necessary. You can. It's all up here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Actually, Brian mentioning like some of the posts that you put up like kind of a fail video not too long ago.
Oh my
didn't you?
God.
Could you find that? Could you find that?
Oh my
'Cause
gosh.
This
I've
is
got
probably.
it already.
You already
Okay.
pulled
Already
it
got
up.
it dialed up.
wait.
Dialed up. I was gonna
I
bring
do have
that
to
up.
say this. I've shot Zach can attest to this. In the 5 years, I've probably put up, you know, maybe 2,000 videos. And, you know, knock on wood, thankfully, I haven't had any mishaps. This was by far the worst mishap I've ever had. I do know what I was thinking, but I don't know what I was thinking when we shot this.
Okay, before we roll this.
Yeah.
Because I know you. I watched this video, and I watched this video 10,000 times, laughed every time. But what were you trying to accomplish? Because I couldn't figure that out till I actually like texted you and said, "Dude, I don't even know what you were trying to do."
So you're gonna see the pumpkin fly up into the air. You're gonna see a kettlebell that I grab, but I don't do anything with. What I meant to do with that kettlebell is swing it up at the pumpkin, smash it into 1,000 pieces.
Gotcha.
in the air. So the
Oh
pumpkin's
yeah,
coming
oh
down.
yeah.
kettlebell up.
I was gonna make this. Oh, this is gonna be a sweet video. You know, we're done with Halloween. This pumpkin, boom, 1,000 pieces. The kettlebell.
So
Well, the pumpkin breaks.
it didn't go.
It didn't go nearly as.
Well, I
planned.
will say the
Nearly as
pumpkin
fun.
breaks. So let's just
It
watch
does.
it.
It does. You're
So
right.
let's see this
Watch
video. Setting up.
Yep.
Kettlebell
Practice.
swing.
Okay,
Oh,
that
practice
yep,
swing. There we
practice
go.
swing. Wait. I'm gonna look at the camera here. Like, hey, is the camera still? Here it is. Look. Yep. There's the look at the camera.
Pumpkin up. It is so good. It is so good.
That's good.
That
Nailed you.
Is that the first time you've seen that, Clint?
Yeah.
Oh
Well,
my gosh.
Brian had showed me like a
Play that
little
again.
remix
Oh my
video that he
gosh.
did, but
It is unbelievable.
That's a big pumpkin too.
It was
had
over
to
20
hurt.
pounds. Yeah, when we went there the week prior, we went to a little pumpkin patch. Denise is like, "Oh, we got to take pictures of Kirk." I'm like, "Yeah, that's awesome." But she found like the biggest pumpkin sitting there. I'm like, "All right, yeah." He puts it like he's got these different jugs that he will has the prices. You know, here's the $3 pumpkin. Here's the $10. There's the $20+ pumpkin. It's the big pumpkins. So yeah, we got the biggest one. And that biggest one went, 15, 20 feet in the air. My head took care of business.
What was funny to me was you threw the pumpkin up, you grabbed the kettlebell on the ground, and then you just look at this pumpkin. Because I know you, I think it was okay, I'm not going to get the kettlebell up in time.
That's exactly
Do I
right.
bail? And as all this is going through your head, this pumpkin just smashes you in the face.
Oh my gosh. And that's exactly
And then your
right.
body goes flying backwards.
It did. That was a lot of
It
momentum.
was
good.
on the descent, and I knew right then and there. It was slow motion. I'm like, this is not going to end well. This is going to be so bad. I wanted so badly to lift that kettlebell up, but I just froze.
Yeah.
I talked about anxiety earlier. I had anxiety. I had pumpkin anxiety. It's coming down. I remember the first my son was out there with me, and that was the first thing. I got up. I'm like, all right, I'm not knocked out. Kirk, are you okay? And then he's 6 months old. I'm like, don't ever do that, Kirk. Don't ever do that. So
your wife's at work.
my wife was at work.
So potentially, you could have been knocked unconscious, and
And
we
he
have
would
a,
have been
we have
with
a
a
6-month-old
yes, that was oh my gosh.
just in the yard.
Can you imagine neighbors
looking.
like, why is that baby crying? Look, they look
And
over
you're
the fence
just-
like this guy is just passed out. There's a broken pumpkin there. There's a poor baby 15 feet away just crying because his dad got stupidly knocked out by a pumpkin.
But you didn't get knocked out.
I didn't. I know I can take a hit.
Yeah, man.
And props for posting that. That's cool. I like that.
Hey,
Yeah.
you know, I post enough stuff where people are like, "Why is he yeah, we know you can do a heavy squat." Well, you know what? There's another side
Yeah.
to it, and you know what? I needed to post that.
Big fan
That's
of
good
that.
stuff.
So
That's
All
fantastic.
right. Well, we got to move into something else now
Yeah.
because today is also a big day.
huge day.
Tell me.
Huge.
Well,
Huge.
I don't know if you're familiar with the Rocky franchise of movies.
Yeah.
Movie number 8 came out yesterday, but today, Jason and I are going to see Creed 2.
Yeah.
So, but let me set the stage why Creed 2 is so important.
Tell me.
Because if you go back and look at the Rocky movies, I'm gonna make this statement, and I'm gonna stand by it 100%.
I already know what he's
But
gonna
Rocky
say.
4
Yep.
is the best Rocky movie in the franchise.
Hands down.
This is where Rocky, well, first it starts out with Apollo Creed,
Yep.
Rocky's buddy. He boxes this Russian in like an exhibition match.
Yep.
Russian kills him
Yeah.
in the ring.
Literally
kills
kills
him.
him.
Like kills him.
He's dead.
Rocky's holding his friend Apollo, kind of like looks at the Russian. So of course Rocky's going to avenge his friend's death, goes to Russia to fight the Russian
On Christmas
Yep.
Day.
on Christmas Day, and of course, Rocky gets pounded for 14 rounds basically.
Yeah.
But then he obviously wins.
Makes that.
And then he gives a speech about
ends the Cold War.
Ends the Cold War.
He ends the Cold
He ends
War.
the Cold War.
So basically,
Effectively.
you have history covered. It's a Christmas movie. It's the most motivational movie ever made. I mean, the training montage, I can't tell you how many times I've seen that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, Zach and I have talked about, all right, when are we going to go to Jackson Hole, Wyoming and see the barn where they actually shot this movie? They
Gosh.
didn't go to Russia, I know.
Yeah.
But
So Creed 2. So then, okay, you have the Rocky franchise,
Yes.
which is a
I got
six
goosebumps.
movie
I got
franchise.
goosebumps right now. Like straight up, I'm like geeking out over here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So you have 6 movies in the Rocky franchise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after Rocky 4, they made Rocky 5, which was an abysmal failure.
That didn't happen.
Yeah, we don't count. We don't count Rocky 5.
Okay.
Then you had Rocky Balboa, which is Rocky 6, which I'm going to stand by this statement: the second best Rocky
Can
movie.
I tell you a really funny story about this, and then we'll keep
Okay,
going? I'm
yeah.
so sorry. So this is how rabid of a fan I am. I was in Iowa when this came out. It came out in the winter. Balboa. My car broke down and it was in the shop. We had a snowstorm coming in that night. The only way, or excuse me, late that afternoon, the only way I could get to the movie was on my motorcycle. I kid you not. I drove my motorcycle in 30-degree weather. It was not storming at the time. I'm literally enjoying this movie thoroughly. I'm looking at my watch because I knew when the storm was going to roll in. And I'm sitting here like, this is so cool. This is so cool. It got done. It just started to spit. I mean, a little bit of ice beforehand. I'm riding my motorcycle. I only live 4 miles away from the movie theater. I'm riding my motorcycle through freezing rain in Iowa because I wanted to see Balboa. People were looking at me. I am so lucky I didn't crash that thing. I got it in the garage. We got like 4 or 5 inches of snow that night. But I took my motorcycle through freezing rain to watch Balboa. Sorry about that.
No, you have to. You have to. And this is really where Jason and I once we found this love for the Rocky movies, this is really where our love for each other
just
blossomed because you know, when you grew up with that stuff, I mean, it's special to you. I remember one of the first times I remember my dad and I going to a movie together was Rocky IV. It was 1985. I still lived in Las Vegas, and my dad took me to see Rocky IV, and that was always my favorite. We used to watch it at the house. I would make my younger brother, after we watched Rocky IV, we would put like mittens on, and I would just tee off on him for a while, and I would make him be the Russian, and I was Rocky, and that was just what was.
I also remember seeing that movie for the first time. I remember where I was, what I was doing, who was around me. I remember everything about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. So after Rocky Balboa, which is, you know, effectively Rocky VI, you know, a few years go by, and the Creed movies come out. Still written by Sylvester Stallone, who, mind you, wrote all of the Rocky movies.
Yeah.
Writes this Creed movie. It kind of, you know, it follows Apollo's son, and, you know, we kind of take it from there. Rocky trains him, you know, that whole
Dude,
thing.
Creed's a great movie.
Right. So Creed 2, now we have Creed, you know, Apollo's son, who will be fighting Ivan Drago, the Russian from Rocky IV's son.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Really?
So
see, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
So this is like, we're coming back. We're coming back. We're coming full circle to Rocky
This is 4.1, essentially. It's just the upgrade.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
we'll see what happens.
I got goosebumps again. Like I'm ready. 4:30.
Oh man, it's gonna be so good. Do you know that? You know, Sylvester Stallone wrote all of these movies.
I did know that. Did he direct as well, or he just
directed?
But I heard that he like basically wrote them and passed it around, and nobody would take it.
Well, actually, the first Rocky in the '70s, which the first Rocky, you know, won Academy Award for Best Picture.
Yeah.
He was shopping that around Hollywood. Apparently, a studio was really interested, but said, "We don't want you to play."
That's what it was.
We don't want you to play Rocky. Well, you know, we like the script, but we want another actor.
Yep.
And he was like, "Nope, I wrote this.
Yep,
This is,
I'm doing it."
And so somebody else ended up picking it up. That first Rocky won the Academy Award for Best Picture, and then just created a franchise, Rocky V. I don't know what happened.
That was just
what a weird
that was just
one
wrong.
I don't think I saw
level.
5.
So Rocky V starts right at the end of Rocky IV. So Rocky IV, boom, Rocky takes a pretty good beating from the Russian. Rocky V starts. He's like in the shower in the locker room, and like he's basically having like some brain trauma, some CTE, some level 6 CTE is just, you know. Yeah. Anyway, so the whole movie, Rocky V, Rocky's kind of slow. And then there's this backstory. There's this backstory where Paulie, who is Rocky's brother-in-law, gave like power of attorney to some financial person. Anyway, they lost all their money, and Rocky had to move back to like the inner city of Philadelphia.
Okay.
Yeah. And so it was kind of this whole weird thing. Like, so he's back in inner city of Philadelphia. He's slow, and he ends up training Tommy Gunn, who's actually a real boxer, Tommy Morrison, who did he pass away?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I know he had to retire because he got HIV.
He had HIV.
He got HIV back in the 90s. Anyway, but it just wasn't a good movie. There was no Rocky didn't box in it. He ended up having a street fight at the end, which of course he won, but it just wasn't good.
Weird relationship with his son. Yeah.
So then there was a pretty big break in the, you know, you're like, okay, well, he just put the nail in the coffin to the Rocky franchise. And then Rocky Balboa came out, and they kind of, I think they just conceded that was not a good storyline, you know, kind of got away from the whole like brain damage thing, and Rocky was like a restaurant owner. It was the computer model.
Called Adrian's. He loved his wife.
Yeah,
she passed away.
She had passed away at this point, but Rocky Balboa, I absolutely love.
I'm with you
I
wholeheartedly.
don't think I
that.
saw that one either.
Oh, that's a great one.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Antonio Tarver, was that who it was? Antonio Tarver, the boxer.
That his actual name? Yeah, that sounds right.
He's
The
a real
Loft-
boxer. I don't know if
Okay.
you-
Yeah.
Antonio Tarver.
See, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, he was a real
no
boxer.
way. Okay.
But he played a fictional character in this Rocky Balboa movie.
Yeah.
And there was like this ESPN computer model of like
Yeah.
who would win, this
They're
guy
sitting in a bar.
this
and,
guy
yeah,
or Rocky in his prime, So it got people talking,
talking heads,
and they ended
right.
up boxing kind of just this exhibition where, where Rocky goes in there. He ends up spoiler alert, he ends up losing the boxing match, but like puts up an incredible fight.
Right.
Yeah.
But he leaves the arena just on top of the world.
People
Yeah.
cheering
Like
for
all the
him.
heart, everybody's cheering for him because he went in there and like gave an actual in their prime boxer like a run for his money.
Wow.
As like this old guy. Gosh, I mean, I'm getting goosebumps now
I'm
too.
serious.
Yeah.
Seriously, something interesting. Excuse me. He sold out for this. I mean, he sold out his life for this Rocky series. He gave up everything. He was dirt poor. He sold his dog just to have enough money to live, in hopes that Rocky would get established. And then what's really cool, he got the break. He got to play Rocky. He bought the dog back, Butkus, in the movie.
Did he?
That's
Yeah,
sick.
I'm pretty darn certain that Butkus, he had
Now-
sold off.
Brian, if you can bring up a picture of Sylvester Stallone. He's in his 70s. Bring up Google him shirtless. Bring up a picture
Right
of this
now?
guy. Yeah.
Shirtless
how he looks
right now.
Yeah, how this guy looks in his 70s.
Still shredded,
I mean,
jacked, shredded.
Brian, you're gonna need.
Granted,
Yeah.
they're
He's got a sloppy side of his face, though.
Yeah. Hey, you know what?
nobody's perfect.
No, you're right.
No.
All right,
yeah.
You're
Look at
right.
that.
The picture with the tattoos. Look at this guy. This
Oh,
guy's in his
70s.
70s.
And I mean, does he have some steroid help? Probably.
That's
Maybe.
But
unbelievable, though.
this guy just kills it in the gym every day still. He's
Golly.
He does work.
he does work.
He does work.
He does work, man. And he's still making these movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I were you, I would honestly start at the first Rocky and just
I've seen them,
Oh,
but
okay.
it's not recent enough that like, and I also wasn't super like, it wasn't. I was younger,
Right.
So, I've seen them over the course of like, but whenever Creed dropped, I was super pumped because Michael B. Jordan's fantastic. I think he's awesome.
Yeah, he's cool.
And just to know that like Rocky would kind of be carrying that kind of trainer, that side again. I was super pumped on it. And I think I watched it like 3 times. Creed was incredible.
Yeah.
But I will have to go back and I'll have to watch Rocky 4 again and just try to like get that because I've seen it, but it's been a long time. I'm sure.
I mean, there may be no better scene in a movie than when he goes to Siberia or wherever, Russia, to train for this fight.
Yep.
And he goes with actually Apollo's coach and his brother-in-law, Paulie.
Yep.
And he's doing his training. And before he leaves, his wife doesn't want him to fight, because Rocky's retired at this point.
Yeah.
And, she doesn't want him to fight. And so
He'll kill you.
Yeah, he'll kill you.
The wife says this.
He comes back from this run that he was on, and he sees his wife there in Russia. She's at this cabin, and then they have this moment. They have this moment where they're talking, and she's like, "I'll be there for you, no matter what." He's like, "No matter what." And then this montage hits.
4.5 minutes of the greatest.
Get out of here, dude! I will fight anybody right now.
Oh, the greatest moment, the greatest 4 minutes in movie history
Is that montage.
And then it could not. That 4 minutes couldn't end more perfectly. He's running. He's got these Russians following him wherever he goes. Then he puts this little juke, runs through the snow. They hit a snowdrift. They can't do anything. They're falling all over. He climbs a freaking mountain. He's at the top of the world, just screaming Drago, his enemy, his nemesis. Like,
But while he's training, they're showing some of the Russian training who's like in this state of the art gym, getting shot up with steroids,
lights everywhere,
But Rocky's just doing it like he's out there just doing it.
Doing it
on
Farmer
the
Gym
mountain.
style.
Doing it Farmer
Yeah.
Gym
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what we want, we're not perfect. We're not, clean cut. We don't have the bells, the whistles. We're just gonna get gritty.
I love it.
It's all heart.
I
It's
love
all
it.
heart. It's all mentally.
I'm making connections now. I get it.
Man.
I feel bad for people that haven't found, if you watch his Rocky movies and haven't found that just that heart in there and just that purity of a Rocky movie. I feel bad for you.
Yeah.
You gotta go back and watch.
I'm going to.
Over
I'm going
and
to.
over and over and over again.
I may cry in Creed 2. I don't even know what's gonna happen.
I don't
but I
either.
just may start weeping.
Seems like a dope storyline, though.
Yeah.
It's
going to bring back
be.
a lot of old memories, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this actor they have that plays
He's a
Ivan Drago's
scary
son.
looking
is-
dude.
What's he look like, Brian? Can you
Dude
look
is
that
a-
up?
Oh my
gnarly
gosh.
dude.
Who's
There's
playing
some,
the
there's
Who's
some
playing the
YouTube
enemy in
videos
Creed 2?
of him training.
The opponent.
Oh my gosh. Whew. Dude is a scary, scary human.
Does he
being.
look like the Russian dude? Because that guy was.
He doesn't. No, I mean,
No,
Not
which I think
necess-
because they
no.
they were talking about this UFC fighter that was going to play his son because they had talked about this movie for a while, and Sage
there you go.
Northcutt. Have you heard of him?
yeah,
No.
that
Is that
yeah,
him?
Florian. Yeah,
Good.
he is.
This
a
is the
sca-
guy.
He looks like. Well, have you ever heard the story of how Sylvester got Dolph Lundgren into playing his
No.
part?
Oh,
Well, he wanted in the original
Goodness.
Rocky 4 somebody to look like this, just like a freaking bulldozer of a man. But
Right.
then he put his resume in, however actors do it, and he's like, I want this guy. He looks perfect. He's giant. People are gonna hate this guy. Rocky. I have all these faults. I'm not supposed to be where I am. I have to use my guts, determination to get to the top of the mountain. Well, this guy's perfect. He's already there. People are gonna hate this guy. He's perfect for this spot. So this was the guy he wanted for Rocky 4, but then he's like, no, Dolph is the way to go.
Right.
But then they went back to what he had originally wanted for this Russian, dirty, just mean
this-
bulldozer
Yeah.
of a man to play the bad guy.
Well,
yeah.
they were talking about having this. He's actually a UFC fighter. His name's Sage Northcutt, and he kind of looks like he's got the blonde hair.
Okay.
Looks like the
Yeah.
Russian, but apparently he's like 5'7" or 5'8", so he was too small.
No,
So it wouldn't have matched because the Russian,
was huge. Yeah.
Ivan
Yeah.
Drago was huge.
Yeah.
In Rocky 4, this guy's huge. I'm glad they went this route.
That guy
Me
looks
too.
mean.
It's
dude.
cool.
He
Oh.
looks mean.
He just looks like a giant pit bull that can take your head off.
Yeah. And Michael
Yeah.
B. Jordan, he's not a big dude.
He's a pretty big dude, though.
Is he?
He's
I mean,
cut. He's muscle.
pretty
He's got some
muscular.
muscle. But
Yeah.
when he stands next to him, no, that height difference.
Yeah, it's
you're
gonna-
looking at least 6 inches.
Oh,
So,
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that never mattered because I don't think Rocky ever fought in his weight class. Apparently, in the Rocky universe, there's no weight classes.
No.
There's no way. Maybe him and Apollo
Playing
were close,
Clubber
but
Lang.
yeah, in Rocky 3, when he was Clubber Lang, who was played by Mr. T. No,
Yeah.
no,
Not a
there's no
chance.
weight. There's no weight classes in the Rocky universe, but there doesn't need to be because weight doesn't matter when you got a big heart.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
It doesn't.
You don't quit. Good things are going to happen.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. He looks good, but that Russian dude, that looks like another level.
Oh, that's quite the transformation. Good for you, kid.
Yeah, he may have had some help there as
Yeah.
well.
I need some of that help.
That-
so,
that help's
if
easy.
if anybody knows,
If anybody knows of any kind of that help,
There's the 6-month plan or the 6-year plan. That
Yeah.
guy might be. I
The
don't know on the
6-month
6-month plan.
yeah,
right? That help comes in a syringe and goes
little glass bottle.
goes into your butt, and then you do about 5 push-ups. There you go.
And then with the $50 million you make from the movie, you can do something about your heart. Your health is
Yeah.
gonna be fine. You're
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
You're okay.
Then you're set up. Yeah, geez, that's phenomenal. So you guys are seeing that today.
Yep.
Yeah.
That should be incredible.
Yeah.
I hope at least. I hope you don't leave feeling Rocky 5. That's what
I
hope.
already know I won't.
He
Yeah.
had gained
No
weight
way.
for Black Panther though. I'm pretty sure.
Good point.
Oh yeah, he
Yeah.
did. Well, he did
was
Creed
big.
and then Black Panther, and now Creed 2.
So
So,
he
like
maintained.
he got
Excuse me,
big,
yeah.
and then Black
Yeah.
Panther they probably blew him up a little bit again too, though.
Yeah.
yeah.
That movie has so much CGI too, though. They probably just helped him out.
Black
that
Panther had
department.
CGI.
No way. No.
Little known fact.
All natural.
That was a good movie, though. I like
Yeah.
that movie.
But-
Michael B. Jordan, he's cool, man. I like him.
Yeah. Oh, he's a great actor for
Yeah.
sure.
He's good
For sure.
And I when they were first advertising, the first Creed, I was real skeptical. I was like, oh, like what are we playing off
Yeah.
of here? I think the first thing I thought was, is this a video about the band Creed? Is this a movie about the band Creed with Michael B. Jordan? Okay. But
Yeah.
but it was great.
It was.
The
It was.
first
They
Creed was
had
amazing.
just enough of like the new storyline where you get to watch this guy's career kind of start and blossom and but you had just enough of that old with the
You had
Rocky training and the
tugs at the heart. He's fighting cancer. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Makes him
Yeah.
live at his house like
Yep.
that. Everything about
Yeah.
it felt like
It was-
Rocky too.
It touched all the Rocky nerves that
Yeah.
you need a Rocky movie to touch.
And then this one is going to be icing on the cake because we have Drago's son.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
It's going to be great.
I hope it's
gonna
good.
be great.
I hope it's good.
Well, Brian,
Yeah.
what's happening in the news right now?
All right.
We got anything to talk about?
A couple things, I guess.
All right.
So this is a news story about a week ago, I guess. The bleeding plant-based burger. So it's a vegan burger that like looks just like beef, and then when you cook it, it changes color and all that. It's pretty crazy.
And it bleeds?
Yeah, I guess.
Is
it
that
has, like,
really
some-
important?
Is that beet juice in it?
Oh,
I guess it's important for the vegans that think that they're eating meat.
Well, I eat meat. I eat burgers, and that's not important for me. I don't demand. I don't demand
No.
my burger to bleed all over the
no.
pan.
I,
or
in
the
fact,
grill.
I've never ever thought about that, and I love meat. Have been eating it for however.
I
many
tried the
years.
vegan thing for 1 month.
Well, that's right. You
Remember
did
that?
Yo, I remember that.
Yeah, that was in the. Well, like, I was training with you.
I remember.
I just
that.
wanted to give it a shot. Let me be 100% honest. I watched that stupid documentary, What the Health, and was like, let me try this. Come to find out, that's like the most.
you're so
That's like
mentally
the-
weak.
I know,
Dude,
That's like the most debunked documentary I think in the history of
like
the
there are
universe.
100 different PhDs that have.
Yeah, I got into it, and as soon as one of the doctors said, "Oh, chicken is basically a class 1 carcinogen, worse than cigarettes," I was like,
Oh,
"Yep,
yeah.
nope, this guy is he knows nothing about what he's talking about. Shut it off."
Yeah.
That was unbelievable, and it
Yeah.
breaks my heart a little bit that like you would watch that and it would just change your whole perspective.
Well, I've always made the claim that I'm only as smart as the last documentary I've watched. So, it's fitting for me. But I tried it for a month.
Yeah.
I tried the vegan thing for a month, went all in, just like thought I'd give it a shot, see how I feel. I actually, from a performance level, I didn't feel like I lost anything, from exercising.
Yeah.
I felt good. I was full, but really, I guess I didn't really feel great. I had like all that fiber and just I felt like I always felt bloated, always felt like gassy. Like I was like, man, I can't keep eating like this
Yeah.
much beans and rice and vegetables, like so much of it, because I was still trying to like eat a certain amount of calories as well, and it was
Right.
it was too much for me.
Yeah.
I couldn't handle the bloat.
It's
man.
impossible.
Yeah. All that protein, because you got to consume more protein because you're not getting the full benefit from that meat protein. So
Right.
You did the fiber, the protein. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that maybe some people react to it differently. For me though, I wasn't about that life. Went back to that meat.
Yeah. So that's like, so this is interesting. You've also seen like the stuff where they're trying to grow meat, right?
What?
Yeah.
Where
yeah.
so
No,
they
lab
basically
grown.
are taking, and I'm probably gonna botch it, but essentially like they take the different things that make up meat and they grow it in a lab.
Cow,
so,
chicken, and pig. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's supposed to like grow from like just an organism.
They take the muscle cells and basically grow them.
Yeah, and
that
so
they
now they're
produce
planning on
tissues and stuff.
making meat that is essential. They're saying it's real meat, but it's not. They're growing it.
From
It's
what
weird.
I've heard, it's 100% real meat
Yeah,
because they're able to grow the muscle tissue,
Yeah.
which is ultimately what the meat is. But and then the cells come from a live animal, so they don't have to, kill the animal. And right now, it's just a matter of they're doing it now.
Yeah.
It's just not cost effective.
I was just gonna say how much.
So once-
is a pound of meat.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
from
but
that?
as technology progresses and
This-
the cost goes down, you never know.
this
like
may be
plasma
something.
TVs when they first came out.
I don't have any problem with that.
Yeah. Well, I'm interested to try it. I would love to try it and just give it a shot. The problem is all of it you're not going to grow a steak. It's not going to look like a ribeye. It's going to look ground up.
Right.
So everything's going to be basically ground meat.
You don't know, though. Maybe
well,
not.
that's basically what they've said.
Right. Well, and then what'll happen is, say that becomes the mainstream. You know, we're all accepting the fact that we eat like meat grown in a petri dish or whatever.
Right.
But people are gonna want real meat.
Yeah.
And that's probably those prices are probably gonna go through.
Well,
This is
Probably.
a real
Probably,
ribeye.
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Then the next business is going to come out. They're going to create a way to package it and make it look like filet mignon.
Yeah.
This is
Well, yeah,
what
I
it
mean, you're
is.
going to grow the
Right.
cells, but how do you grow them into like the same way that a
Right.
ribeye steak has those tissues laid out and like the
Yeah.
texture and all,
And that
the flavor?
fat.
But
And
Well,
just that
but apparently
marbling.
they taste just
that,
like
just
other
that
products.
marbling, dude. Yeah,
apparently
you
they
could
taste the same. because
you
it's
could make
just-
a fillet
it's
because there's
meat. It
hardly
is
any
meat.
fat in it. You know,
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they'll be able to do with fat. I don't know how they'll be able to do that if they can. If
they
can
better
replicate
figure it
that.
out if they're going to get me on board because I need a big old chunk of fat on.
But
the
you know
end
who
of my
you know who
meat.
figured out the? I mean, look at Tofurkey.
What?
They're killing the
No.
game of fake food that looks like real food.
Yeah,
It's gross. Have you ever had it?
tastes like gelatin.
I
It's
refuse.
disgusting.
Yeah.
I refuse.
I will not
to
eat
try it.
tofu.
Uh-uh.
No, thank you.
They shape tofu into actually looking like a turkey.
You're not fooling anybody.
You're not fooling anybody. And to me, I'm like, if you're vegan, like, do you really need the shape?
Well,
No,
and
of
that's
like a
the same thing as
gelatinous-
like making a plant burger bleed. It's like
Right.
why? If the whole thing that you're against, a lot of vegans are like, hey, I'm against killing
Right.
animals like this.
Right.
Then why would you want to throw in the element? Is it to get people that are used to having that on board and being like, oh, I'll jump in?
It's gotta
'Cause-
be.
Yeah,
I
because
think
the
it is.
vegans
Gotta be the
themselves
reason.
can't be excited
I
about
mean, I've
that.
had like vegan burgers before, and I think that they taste fine. Like they're not bad, but like you know it's a vegan burger. But you could almost make this and not even tell somebody, and if it tastes similar enough, they might not even know.
Yeah.
That-
and if
that-
they see
that
bleed,
company-
no, it's got to be real.
The company Beyond Meat, their stuff's pretty good. Yeah, I've tasted some of their stuff. They have like the sausage of the burgers,
Derek
and it's
loves it.
Yeah,
our
it's
buddy
pretty good.
Derek. Yeah.
outside of that company, I haven't had. I
But they
haven't
just add
tasted
beet
much of
juice
anything that was
to
good.
it. That's what makes it look.
So it
like.
is
Okay.
beet juice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ugh,
Yuck.
gross.
I love
gross.
beets. I
Yeah,
love
you're
beets.
nasty.
Okay. It's like eating
Really?
dirt. It tastes
Yeah.
like earth.
I love
like
them.
you're
It
eating
just
Mother
tastes like
Earth. Yeah.
Dwight
big ol'
from the
handful of
office. Back
earth.
to the office.
Yeah,
Where's this? Is that? Did it say it was in the UK?
yeah. It was a
happening?
UK supermarket that was like releasing some of this
Okay.
bleeding meat.
Interesting.
That is interesting. Well, hey,
We'll see.
that's what
Publix
sells your
next
products.
week.
Yeah, we'll see.
Go for it.
Cool.
Got anything else?
Clint, you sent this to me. You want to talk about it?
Oh yeah, yeah. So in talking to Zach, I wanted to just kind of touch a little bit. He said you were a college football.
Oh
fan a
man,
little
this is
bit.
the this and
So-
Rocky IV I can talk about.
Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of get your take on
Yep.
what's happening like this
Yeah.
season and what like I really want to look at. Hey, what's the playoff going to look like,
Oh,
and what you think's going to end up.
I'll
playing
run.
out.
I'll run down these teams right here.
All right, tell me.
Alabama, they're Supermen. Clemson, they're the only team that can knock off Supermen. Notre Dame, overrated.
Yeah.
That will tick off so many people, but they just have such a big alumni base that they can sell anything. And I realized they beat Michigan, but that was at home. That was a different Michigan team. I think Michigan's better. Now that I'm in Georgia, I like Georgia. I would love to see them in there, but that battle with Alabama at the SEC championship
be
game,
tough.
I personally think only one SEC team will go there, unlike last year. So we'll see. Oklahoma, they don't have a defense. They can put up numbers against everybody.
Yep.
LSU, 2 losses. No, they're not going to get in. Washington State, Pac-12. UCF, they've got a fake national title from last year. Absolutely not. They don't play anybody. Here's the thing with UCF. It's a battle of attrition. The other teams are playing bigger, stronger, better competition week in and week
Yes.
out, and they have to go through first string, second string, third string. UCF, they don't have that depth, but they don't get people knocked off because they're not playing that bigger, faster, stronger conference. So it's an unfair advantage, even though if they played Alabama, Clemson, all the way through Washington State 10 times, they would lose 60, 70% of those games. It just so happens last year when they played Auburn, they caught them.
They did.
Yeah,
They
lightning
did.
in a bottle. Ohio State, they're done. Urban, in my opinion, he's going to pull the Florida card and retire at the end of this year due to health problems.
Interesting.
Then in 3 years, he'll probably come back, sign a $8 million contract with another team that can probably win the national championship.
So the biggest shakeups that I could see, and
Okay.
you ran
I
through that
I agree.
super efficiently. No, it's perfect because the only shakeups that I see, obviously Michigan and Ohio State are playing this week. If Ohio State beats Michigan, that creates a big conundrum, and then Alabama and Georgia. obviously, like that could, but Alabama still has to play Auburn too. So you're looking at two
Iron
tough
Bowl
games
this Saturday,
Yep.
and that's as they always say, you can toss the records out the window when it's a big rivalry
Exactly.
game. I mean, look what happened
Exactly.
when FSU played Auburn in the national championship game. I mean, everyone thought Alabama was going to win. Then boom,
Yep.
that last second, Nick Saban's like, I want that second.
Kick six.
Kick six.
That kick six.
Yeah.
So I'm super interested to see. This is why I would argue for an 18 playoff. I don't
Okay.
know where you stand on it because I like the 14 playoff.
Sure.
But I think that if you had the Power 5 conferences that can all their conference champion gets in, so that way the conference championship actually means something. And I understand like somebody that may not be at the top of the crop can get in, but if then you have those 3 at-large bids, because I agree, UCF obviously doesn't play a good schedule at all. Their athletes are definitely not as superior, to almost any of the other teams on there. I would argue maybe Washington State to an extent.
Yeah.
But you're looking at, I think that, dude, if they go undefeated 2 seasons in a row and they defeated Auburn in the bowl game last year, I really think that if you're looking at a playoff system, you got to be able to slide them in and at least give them a shot. And if they get killed, it's like Boise State, years ago where they got in, dude, they got slaughtered, but they were undefeated. That's just what happens.
They didn't get slaughtered by Oklahoma.
No. In the national championship game.
What year was that?
I'm sorry, I'm in rebuttal mode right now.
Yeah,
which
you're
team? Which team?
No. So
Boise
we're talking
State.
about
Boise State they were never in the national.
Well, who did they?
when did they beat Oklahoma?
They played Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl in like
that crazy play where they handed it behind his back.
Yes,
They had
that's
like
what it
two-
was.
two trick
Okay.
plays.
And
They
then
beat Oklahoma.
and then
Yeah.
proposed to his wife. Yeah.
But what I'm arguing is that a team like Boise State, where their schedule is not super strong, I thought it might have been a national championship game. I guess I was confused.
No,
It
it
was
was a big
But so-
bowl, but yeah.
But it's one of those things. Yeah, you got to be able to put a team that's undefeated like that in a situation where you at least let them play for it. 4 teams, obviously you're not going to throw them in, but if you have 8, which I don't think is that big of an expansion, a team like UCF that looks a lot like a Boise State did back in the day,
Sure.
you got to be able to.
Oh man, I absolutely I hear that idea. I respect it, and if it goes to it, it goes to it. I guess I'm going to be in the minority on this. I actually like the old way where you just have 2 teams coming out fighting, going to that national championship. It is why college football is so pure and so incredible. I don't want it to look like the NFL game. I want every single game to matter. I don't want to have this. Listen to how excited I am. I can't even keep my breath. Whoa. Rocky IV college football. Okay. So I want that every game to matter, where you're just holding on to your seat, where you're having these arguments. Well, this person's better. This person's better. So I liked the way it was. Florida State was the last national champion. The way it is now, having 4 in, I'll accept it. I don't personally want it to get any bigger because it just waters it down, in my opinion. And then let's say Pac-12 gets in. I just don't think their competition is the best in the country. We're looking for the best team in the country, and if you're taking the top team from each conference, I personally don't think you're getting the best of the best. But then the rebuttal is, but on any given Saturday, any given Sunday, this team can knock it off, and then it's going to look like college basketball.
I have a question for you guys. I don't have the in-depth knowledge of this like you guys do, but with strength of schedule being such a sticking point for some people,
yes.
wouldn't an 8-game playoff,
An 18 playoff.
or an 18 playoff, help kind of eliminate some of those arguments?
Here's where I have a problem with that. Remember me talking about it's a game of attrition earlier?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you have all these teams who are playing in the bigger, better, faster, stronger conference, and they're knocking each other senseless, and they're coming in on an unequal playing field because they're all beat up, and they're playing this team who's played cupcakes, and they're all fresh and spry, they're going to have an advantage over what is a better team, but they've beaten themselves up because they're playing the best competition. So this weaker foe is going to come in, strong as can be, while the others, they would be up here, but they've been beating themselves up, so they're down here.
With that being said, what has to happen in the NCAA for a team like UCF to get a stronger schedule?
Join a Power 5.
Yeah, you
Join
have
a
to.
Power
Now,
Five
is that
conference.
on the school to do that?
They're going to have to
It's
do
on
some
a
work.
lot of things. Yeah, because back in the, I think it was back in the 90s or the late 80s, Florida State had an opportunity to join the SEC, and Bobby Bowden basically was like, no. So the conference basically would extend an invitation. So it's the same sort of thing that happened with Texas A&M joining the SEC not too long ago, where they get an invitation, they can either accept or deny, but it's basically up to the conferences that kind of would be able to, but and again, I completely agree. I liked the old system as well. I just don't think we're ever going to get back to it.
I'm with you.
In my eyes, it's tough because you don't get like in baseball, you don't get a 7-game series. Like in basketball, you don't get a 7-game series. And so obviously it is any given weekend, anything can happen. And that's why even you see, the New England Patriots a few years ago going undefeated in the regular season, and then they get into the playoffs and they lose in the second round. So it's like you run into things like that it's like New England was probably the best team in the NFL that year. But they're not going to win it because, obviously, like the schedule beats up on them. So I get that. But I think you have to be able to open it up. I just think it would make it more interesting. And give a little team like that, and that's why March Madness is interesting too.
Let me get your take on something. This is something that I've had discussions with. I'm sure everybody's had these discussions, but this year was the first time I actually heard it being said on. It was on ESPN or just it was some sporting news show I was watching, but they actually talked about, could this Alabama team beat the worst NFL team?
No, not
absolutely
a chance.
I agree.
Not a chance.
They'd lose by 20 points.
Yeah, easily.
I think it would be more than that. I think the worst NFL team would borderline shut them out and put 60 points on the board.
You have all the best college, whether they're good or bad, they have all the best college players on that team.
Right.
Yeah, Alabama is freaking probably one of the best college football programs of all time right now, but you're still playing all the best of the best college players on one team.
I agree with that 100%. This was just the first time I'd actually heard that question.
They brought it up a few years ago and actually made a big deal of it. Would Alabama be able to beat the Cleveland Browns?
I remember
and it's like,
that.
dude, look, man, I don't give a crap what NFL team it is. You're not doing anything worthwhile.
Even that Detroit team that lost 25 games in a row or something like that. They were like. A few years back, they'd put 65 points on them.
Easily. Easily.
Yeah. It's just a different game.
It is.
Okay, I just thought I'd
see
what you guys saw.
Yeah.
But
I think it's interesting, man. We'll see how it plays out. The next few weeks are going to be fun.
It will be.
For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
What do you think's happening this weekend? Florida State, Florida game.
Rivalry game, dude. Anything can happen.
You're right. It's been 5 years. It's been 5 years since Florida has beaten Florida State. I think they're a lot better. I don't have a good feeling. Yeah, I married into Seminole Nation. I like Florida State now. And I got to say something. Because I do. So I worked at Premier Health and Fitness, and there's a lot of Gators, a lot of Seminoles. And this was my experience being an outsider. I'm from Iowa, so I feel as though I have somewhat of a neutral view. For the Florida fan base to boast how much greater we are, do they not realize that Florida State started football nearly 50 years after Florida, and they have just as many national titles, just as many Heisman trophies 50 years after the fact? We can compare 50 years down the road. We'll see where Florida State is. Then we can compare apples to apples, but shut your mouth.
Yeah. Oh,
shut your mouth.
Dude, we were a women's college for a long time.
And that women's college has neck and neck you. Yeah. So guess what? Just be quiet. Sit down.
Dude, I completely agree with you. It's outlandish because, they've literally got 50 years of playing over us.
Right.
And yet in half of the time, dude, we've come and look at where we're at, man.
So I had to say that, coming in as an outsider, I'm sitting here scratching my head like, why are you being so arrogant? Florida State can be arrogant too, but you got, again, outsider, way more people, It's like, you have 50 more years on them. Come on.
I love your take on that.
Holy smokes.
I'm a big fan.
Brian, do you have anything else? Because everybody in this room, minus me, is getting real hyped up right now.
I tell you what, I just turned off probably half the people who listen to this from Farmer Gym. They aren't going to want anything to do with Farmer Gym. They're
Yeah.
Florida Gator fans.
Nobody from Gainesville is giving you a call.
I know they're all fuming right
No,
now. They're
no,
just,
and I
ugh.
do have respect for them. They're a great program, but when it comes to the comparison, just
just
slow your roll.
stop. Yeah,
Nice.
agreed.
Nice. We'll wrap it up here.
Yeah.
So where can people find you on
farmergym.com, or you can go to Facebook. Just look up Farmer Gym, GYM, 2 words. I used to have an Instagram site, used to have a Twitter site, but it just took up too much time. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to keep building Facebook. I'm going to keep building the online presence and see where it goes. So.
And on your site, people can buy your books.
They got books. We actually have something called the bale. Yeah, I know, weird. Started out with tossing bales of hay, where I actually had them manufactured a sandbag, and it's called the Farmer Gym bale. It fluctuates in weight up to 75 pounds. Comes with a book. Really cool piece of equipment, so you can get that there. Workout plans, or if you want anything else, just shoot me a line.
Do you have any room to take on any more online clients?
I do. I can.
Okay.
I'm always trying to take on as many people as I can while not lowering the quality of work. So,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. All right, so yeah, we check out Farmer Gym, GYM.com.
Yep.
Check him out on Facebook.
Yeah, it was an absolute pleasure.
Man,
Thank
it
you
was.
so
This was a
much.
blast. You guys have one cool thing going. I walked in here. I'm like, this is freaking great. You guys do a great job too, Bri. Do nice work back there. DP show, look out, baby.
DP.
I'm serious. I'm serious.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love
Well, man, thanks again
Cool.
so much for coming, and we got Creed too today.
Hey, I'll see you later
So we got to
today.
get we got to
Enjoy it. Good luck.
All
Yeah.
right, well,
Thanks.
see you guys later. We are out.
Cool.
Peace.
Thanks, guys.